G'day mates, it's Chiakiaki here with another SINoALICE video, this time showcasing Peanut's third day in the 7th Gran Colosseum. I'm doing a voiceover instead of using live audio because my mechanical keyboard got featured heavily in the live audio and I don't want to defile your ears. So I'm going with this unscripted voiceover. I'm also not going to be talking over the footage for the entire 20 minutes. What I'm going to do is just run through my thoughts and then let the footage run in the background thereafter. So hopefully you don't mind this format. So to begin, I'm going to set the scene, and that is we face off against Birbs today, and the match today was very different to the matches we had so far because of one thing. Birbs utilized the Exidium strategy. And for those who don't know what the Exidium strategy is, it basically involves buffing your vanguards to the high heavens as fast as you can and then stashing them in the back line while you have the rear guard take their place in the front line and sandbag, which means restricting the life force that is obtainable for the opposing guild. And then in the last couple of minutes, you bring your vanguard back to the front, who should be fully or very highly buffed, and you then hope that they can get a ship or two, because it's usually at the end where the pool of life force is the largest, and that means the amount of life force you can steal is also the largest. So that's what Birbs trying to do to us today, and I can't help but speculate on whether they got inspired by a particular stream that happened 2 days ago. It was hosted by a royal content creator, and they discussed this strategy and explained it using second Gran Colosseum footage. So I can't help but wonder if the inspiration came from there. But I digress. In terms of how they executed this strategy, they did very well. They buffed up their vanguard very quickly using Cecilia as well as their own minstrel lineup, and they used Armored Giant and Luge to try and hinder the vanguard in Peanut, and they also won both Shinmas, and they also did good in stashing their vanguard away quickly to prevent any debuffs from Peanut's sorcerers. So overall, they did very well in executing the strategy. Unfortunately for them, the end outcome was not ideal. They could not get a ship from us. And there were a couple of factors that probably drove this. So the first one would be nightmares. So Birbs used Mao while Peanut used Yuno. And as we've demonstrated in one of our most recent matches, Mao is not really the best nightmare to get ships with nowadays, especially when you have the likes of nightmares like Dryas and Yuno, when those nightmares give advantages to both the rear guard and the vanguard, whereas Mao only gives an advantage to the vanguard. So overall, that nightmare gap definitely had a hand in causing the deviation in the outcome for Birbs. The other factor was that when Birbs brought out their vanguard, we had 4 sorcerers ready to nuke their buffs down. They did a really good job in bringing down those buffs fast. And everyone else in the guild did a great job, so the minstrels hung in there with the buffs. The clerics kept us alive during the onslaughts as much as they could. We did have a setback in terms of cleric attendance, but in the end, they did great in keeping us alive. And of course, my fellow vanguards, we gave it our all to do the best we could in those circumstances. So we fought back harder than they probably anticipated. So I think those were the 2 main factors that led to it, that the nightmare wasn't exactly right, and we had more sorcerers than intended. We had 4 sorcerers instead of 3. So now my personal opinion on this strategy. Having been hit with this strategy, I definitely was not pleased. In a particular part of the footage, when they first swap their rear guard to the front, you'll see my avatar being very expressive. I'm not going to reenact what I said there, but basically, I cried in despair. But that was my initial reaction before my rational self could take in the entire picture. So, while I disapprove of this strategy, I can understand why this strategy exists, why it was used. As they say, desperate times call for desperate measures. I don't think this is an intended way of playing the game from Percolabo's perspective, but if it's not disallowed by terms of service or it's not bannable, I guess it's here to stay. So, GG. That's all I'll say without being too salty or anything like that. Alright, so that's all I've had to say. So if you would like, then please enjoy the rest of the video. And please like and subscribe and check out my other socials. Until next time, bye!